What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Hustle Haven. We're your hosts, River the Realtor.
And I'm Tiesha Renee.
And as usual, guys, we are back with our gems and tips for all entrepreneurs. How are you? I feel like I don't actually know.
I'm honestly blessed and highly favored. How are you?
I love that.
You do ask me. You always ask me how I am.
I feel like I don't, but I need to implement it more.
I'm blessed. How are you? Did you say how you were?
Yeah, I'm also blessed. I'm highly
Good.
favored. I'm one of God's faves for sure. Okay, so this week, y'all, I have been watching that show on YouTube, Pop the Balloon. And I keep watching it. Shout out to my friend Hydra, because I was getting my hair done. She had me watching her shop, and I can't stop watching it.
I thought you was about to say she was on it.
No,
because I could definitely see this on there.
She would spaz out. But it reminded me, like, every time people were coming, like, they would ask them simple questions. And just based off that question, people are popping a balloon. They like, no, this would never work. Just thinking off that question. And it kind of reminded me of how we deal with clients, deal with consumers. And we ask them little things, and there are always these little signs that kind of show us these red flags about them.
I know you're going to be hard to deal
work with. Or you're just not going to be a consumer that really turns into anything. So today, I thought we would talk about that in entrepreneurship and business, when to pop the balloon, how to identify those red flags.
Yes.
And, you know, when enough is just simply enough.
That's a good one, because we always doing it for our significant others.
No, we're literally.
But let's identify the red flags with our customers.
Okay, so I want to kick this off with a little story, y'all.
Okay.
So I had a client, and she kind of came to me, and one of the things I ask in real estate is always like, what is your purpose or what is your why? Why are you buying a home? Mm-hmm. The reason I ask that is because that kind of helps me understand how serious you are. Mm-hmm. If it's like, oh, because my rent is too high, or this, or I want to create it's certain questions, answers rather, that I'm looking for that let me know you're serious. This particular client tells me, well, my homegirl just bought a house. And I'm like, what that got to do with you? Like,
she motivated.
I don't know. It wasn't giving motivated. It was giving like, I have to one-up this girl. It wasn't giving like, I want a house because I see that. It was giving like, oh, my homegirl just bought a house. And so I wanted to see, like, I don't know. It was just something about it. But again, very early in my career, so I wasn't really thinking about a red flag. I was just thinking about, can I get her pre-approved? Can she close?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going through the motions. I get her pre-approved. She had a really, really good job. She got approved for like $450,000. I'm like, great. Again, early in my career. So that $450 felt like a
blessing.
Million.
Yeah.
Like, going through the motions. And then I would just notice, like, she would say she wanted this, and I would show her a house with all of that stuff, and then it was still something just not really pushing the needle. Mm-hmm. So after a few showings, I kind of told her, I would intentionally walk into a property and say, hey, you told me you wanted 3 beds, 2 baths, this. This house has everything you asked for. Mm-hmm. What is it that's missing, or what is it that you're looking for? Because I wanted to challenge her. And every time I would ask that question, she could never answer it.
So she just wanted to be looking.
She just wanted to be looking. So then we finally found her house. We go under contract. Everything's good. And then she just started coming up with just like random excuses under contract, but they weren't real excuses. So I would give her answers. She'd be like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I should have, again, noticed the red flag. She was looking for an out, but I wasn't giving her one because I couldn't see clearly what it was. At the end, y'all, literally 2 days before closing, she calls me, and you know what she said?
What?
I thought about it. I prayed, and God told me.
You told us this. You told me this story. This is a while back.
God told me that I don't need to buy this house. I said, and God told me you're not getting your earnest money back. That's what he said.
And she had to compensate you too, right?
And that was a whole nother one. But no, this was before I knew that they still had to pay for your time. But all of these things that led up to this moment, I felt like were red flags that showed me, A, she wasn't serious, B, she didn't really want to do it, and C, she was wasting my time. But I was just so tunnel focused on like trying to hit numbers and meet goals that I allowed that to happen. Yeah. So based off of that, I want to jump right into, let's talk about those red flags. Like, what are those things that you can identify that like make you know that this is not a serious person?
I feel like for me, and what I'm starting to notice is I notice those red flags during the process, not more so like on the actual consultation that I'm talking to them. Because I feel like anytime I have a consultation, the clients are super excited. Yeah. You know, they're like, okay, like I really want to do this for whatever reason. But when you're actually doing the process, one thing that I see as a red flag is inconsistent communication.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you're purchasing a house, time is of the essence in everything.
Absolutely.
And in the same regard, it's kind of like when I'm sending you homes or I'm reaching out, just checking in, calling, I'm not getting a response from you. This is a red flag. Or then maybe 2 days later, you're like, oh, I want to go see this house in the next hour. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of like, you're inconsistent. Not only are you inconsistent, but you're also inconsiderate of my time.
Exactly.
So I think those red flags are a major one for me.
Yeah. I would add on to that. I would say one major red flag to me is like not really having a targeted end goal or a why.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like, again, typically, especially in the line of work that we have, if you want to buy a house, it's usually for a specific reason.
Right.
I'm so tired of living in Atlanta and paying all of this rent. I'm so tired of, having neighbors. I want a space to call my own. I just got a new job. I'm financially in a good position. I want to make this move. If you cannot tell me why or have a really good reason, to me, that's a red flag. Because I do feel like we're in this generation of following up after the next person or just kind of feeling like, I got to do something to feel successful. Social media, that push and that power. And I always want to differentiate those people who actually want to buy a house because it's what they feel like is right for them versus those who feel like I'm being forced by the masses to do that.
I want to buy a house because of his image that I'm trying to upkeep.
I want that closing day video to do that. Like, girl, it's not that fun.
Love that closing day video.
Seriously. Anything else?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think another one for me is like a control freak client. Like a client who likes to tell you how you're doing your business. Like,
especially a first time home buyer. Like, baby, you don't know nothing.
How are you gonna tell me? I've already sold
I've done this.
Many houses. Like, I know what's going on. I understand that everyone has like different perspectives and like different ways that they want to go about doing things. But when you start to have that client where everything you're saying to them is kind of like you getting backlash. Like, actually, I think we should do this instead. It's kind of like, okay, so are you going to take my advice?
Why do you need me?
Right, why do you need me? Are you going to trust what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or are you going to you want to be willy-nilly? So I feel like those clients that want to control everything and just don't have trust in you and your services, that's like me sitting in the chair, right, getting my hair done, and she's doing my hair. I'm like, maybe I think you should do the closure this way. I don't know how you should do it. Like, you know what to do to make it look good.
You know what's crazy, though? This is kind of a sidebar, but still very relevant. I have been seeing a lot of those videos on social media, people running out on their stylists, and they always be saying, like, those people are the ones throughout the appointment was making this critique. And it's almost like you were setting the stage to be like, I'm not paying, I don't like this. You came in here with the mindset of, bills was due yesterday, but my birthday is tomorrow. I have to come in here nitpick so that I can have a reason to be justified on why I'm not paying this person to move on. I really feel like that's the same thing.
I would hate that. Like, knowingly coming into a service.
It's the red flag,
knowing that you don't have the funds to pay me.
I feel like people do that. They come into the situation, like you said, nitpicking. Yeah. Oh, you should do this. Oh, I don't like that. Because at the end, you can be like, well, I don't like my hairstyle. You know what they say. I'm never paid for a service that you don't love.
You don't love,
It's kind of set in that scene. So I think that's a big red flag. And just to show y'all like how it transitions across other businesses. Yeah. I think noticing that during the process. To add on to the nitpicking though, I think it's the person that, like I said in my example, that cannot be pleased. Yeah. Like, I mean, no matter what you do, you cannot be pleased. And I do want to be clear, especially with purchasing a home, you should be very particular. Not picky, but particular. Like, you should have a list of things that you do and don't want. But I think that when you are, it's twofold. When you are, in a lower price point and you're saying stuff like, I want floor to ceiling, glass windows, marble floor, but I want to pay $200 a month. It's like, okay, we have to, meet somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. But also it's the people where, like I said, I'm giving you every single thing that you requested. I went down and asked you, what would make you happy in this process? Exactly. And I'm presenting you with all of that stuff. If you're giving somebody exactly what it is that they're asking for and they, for some reason, still don't like it or still can't get with the program, that to me is a red flag.
That's showing that they're not serious. Exactly. Like, they probably just want to go look at houses. Like, they just want to do the experience. Yeah. They don't want to actually follow through with it. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, but I think that can kind of be like a sticky situation because some people are just like genuinely just super picky. Like, for example, I had a client, right? And this was early on. So, like, I'm just trying to get it to the close. When I say I showed this client houses every day for like a year. Like, a year straight. But it's kind of like I knew it wasn't a red flag for me at that time because, like, I knew you do want to buy a house. Okay, so let's talk about it though, right? Yeah. That's a picky person. How did you differentiate the fact, like, okay, this is a picky or particular person versus playing? Because I do think that happens. Like, I've done the same thing. I had a client I was shopping with for over a year. Mm-hmm. She ended up buying a house close to $700,000. But the difference was she was very, like, specific. I want this, and this, and I'm not willing to settle if it don't check all these boxes. Mm-hmm. What was the difference? Like, how did you know that client was serious? Just from them. And they're, like, other than just seeing houses every day, they were super consistent. Like, anytime I called, they answer. Like, anything, like, I'm giving them as far as advice, they're taking it into consideration. And we're at the next house, they're like, okay, I remember when you said X, Y, and Z. We thought about it. This is how we think we can kind of move forward from it. So it's kind of like, you were working with me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a matter of like, you're just being picky, you're just being negative.
Yeah.
Like we literally would just not, that's when the market was like super crazy.
Yeah.
This is when it was like over appraisals, that time frame. So it was kind of like, it was a challenging market as a whole. So it's like, when a house hit the market, you got to be there right then. You know what I'm saying? So they weren't giving me any negativity about it. It was just more so I could tell like, okay, your first-time home buyer, this is really special for you. They're like older first-time home buyers, so you have like a whole family. So I can understand the different things in the different niches that you need. So it's kind of like, I guess that gut feeling, you would kind of know.
Discernment is really key because I do feel like this. Seriously. I feel like when you're early in your career, you remove discernment from a lot of things. I feel like when you want to make that sale or you want to hit that milestone, you will it's almost like dating. Yeah. Like when you want a man so bad because you're just so tired of not being able to cuddle at night, you will literally look past the fact that he ain't got no job. He was in the bed when you went to work. He's still in the bed when you came home. He ain't took you on no date. You ain't been on no date. He ain't got no food in the fridge. But I love him.
I love him because you are so desperate for that love. Now you're so desperate for that sale.
Exactly.
You know?
It's the same thing in business. So I think that is good. And you talked about that communication piece. Yeah. But I think that's really how I differentiate who's being like particular versus who's, really playing on my time. Yeah. If we're still talking and you're communicating, or if I show you something and you can tell me like, hey, this is what I didn't like, it shows me that you still have the will to kind of keep moving forward, and I'm less inclined to give up on you.
I don't even want to call it giving up on them.
Let's call it breaking up.
Yeah, it's just like you have to really, sometimes, and I'm learning that today now, you really have to take your emotions out of it because I feel like I'm just like, oh, like I don't want to hurt your feelings, but like this isn't going to work. But it's kind of like you have to take the emotions out of it and look at it strictly from a business perspective. This working relationship is not working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You wasting your time on somebody who's never going to get you to the finish line. It's just not advantageous. So you're like spending time trying not to hurt somebody's feelings while you're wasting your time and energy. So let's talk about that piece of it. Okay. We've identified the red flags. We've identified that you are the red flag. How do you break up with this client? Because like you said, like you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You do want to maintain that like good rapport as a business person. How do you sever the ties in that relationship?
I think at first we will have, it's not an automatic cutoff. Okay. I think at first we have that conversation like, hey, this process has been going on for X, Y, and Z. Here are things that I'm noticing. I just kind of want to make sure we're on the same page with the same goals. Like, for example, let's say we go into communication. And I feel like one red flag for me, and I don't know if I mentioned it, was like when you're like contacting like crazy hours. Like you're contacting me at 2 a.m. all the time or like crazy stuff like that. Like, hey, per my buyer guy.
Per my boundaries.
Though I try to be available as often, here are the respectable office hours. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of give them like, hey, acknowledge what's not working. And if from there, if they're persistent and still doing those things that I've already acknowledged, then I'll have that conversation like, hey, I don't think this is the best mutually beneficial relationship. And not to like cut ties off completely. So maybe I'll refer them out to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like do it in the most professional way, not more so like, you know what, I'm not going to just ghost you, stop responding. I do that in my relationship sometime, but not in my business.
Okay, be a good girl.
Talk to trade of mine, sorry.
No, I think you touched on a couple different things that I definitely want to make sure we like hone in on. Yeah. I think the first thing is like, crap, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, we're talking about breaking up. So I like the fact that clarity conversation. Yeah. Before you just immediately be like, it's a wrap. Make sure you have that conversation. And again, you kind of set the stage because I feel like if you come out of nowhere saying like, I don't want to work with you, that might give somebody the impression of like, okay, this kind of came left field. They feel caught off guard almost.
Because maybe they don't realize that what they're doing bothers you or isn't acceptable in the business. Like maybe they genuinely don't realize it.
And maybe it could open the door for more communication because I had a client like that and I kind of was feeling like, okay, girl, you might be wasting my time. I'm not really feeling that. And I kind of had a conversation. Hey, we've been reaching out consistently. We haven't heard from you. Please let me know if you're still interested at this time. We understand things happen. And she ended up reaching out saying, hey, I'm actually in med school. And I'm like, well, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And some of those things I feel like people don't come out the gate telling you because they don't realize how important it is. But it's like, if I understand that you have these things going on in your personal life, I understand I got to communicate differently. Same thing with a client who was a truck driver. He was hitting me up at like Like, I'm like, brother man,
Okay.
like you before other brother men wake up and say something, like, what's going on? He like, I'm so sorry, like I drive trucks. So like this is the only time I can actually be on my phone because I can't text while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. So I think when you have that clarity conversation, you're like opening the door to kind of lay the foundation and also figure out if something is wrong for you guys to get back on track, and then you can fix your communication.
Exactly.
But I think once you have that clarity conversation, you set the stage, you outline those things that are wrong.
And the actions don't change.
And the actions don't change. I love how you said, you know what? I don't think this is mutually beneficial.
It's not working.
As much as this sucks, y'all, you kind of got to put the blame on you too.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I don't like you. I don't like how you're moving. I think you have to say, hey, you know what? I love the fact that you're interested in home ownership, and I'm super happy that I could help you up to this point. However, just kind of based on certain things,
Based on our previous conversation.
I don't think that this is mutually beneficial. However, I would love to refer you to someone that I think can take better care of you, or, give you more of what you need.
It's all about how you were. Like, I still want to see you meet your goals and get exactly what you want, but I do think I have a partner
who may better fit you.
May work better for your schedule or
what you
your
need.
time or whatever it is that you need.
Now, don't do that in your romantic relationships. Now, don't refer him to the next person, child.
Sometimes, though, those red flags are not referable. Sometimes, if it's like those control freaks that want to tell you how to do your job and like if they're like disrespectful, I'm actually not going to refer you to anybody. I'm not even going to mention. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this relationship where it is.
But I do wish you the best of luck all your future endeavors. I do wish you the best of luck. Like, as you can see, there are many houses available, and I think you will be able to find an agent. I think you'll be able to find one on your own since you know everything.
Since you know everything, you can find one that can do for you.
Literally.
So yeah, I love that. That's another discernment type of thing. You gotta decide, like, do I refer this person out, or
do I just make a clean break?
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
No, I love that. I think, again, this becomes a bigger problem, I think, earlier in your career because, again, you are so tunnel vision on making it to the end. But I do encourage everybody, especially those who are new in business, is to take a time and really analyze your book of business, especially if it's people that's costing you a lot of your time or a lot of your resources. Because I know for me, early on, I was working full time. And when I first got extremely busy, like I had showing assistants, or I would use those agents like on Show On Me and stuff. But you have to pay per showing. So it's like, if you are playing with my time and I'm paying $25 a door, and now I done showed you 25 doors, it's like,
you need to make something back from that.
Something has to make sense. So I really say use discernment, like Tiesha said, and really just take a step back and say, look, yes, they pre-approved for $400,000, or yes, she wants me to come do her wedding makeup, but I am noticing very key things that are indicating that this person may not really be advantageous for my business. You have to be strong enough as a business owner to remove yourself from that situation and say, you know what, all money ain't good money.
Okay.
My time and my mental sanity is more important than me potentially making a dime.
Exactly. It's important to always protect your peace, because the frustration and the aggravation that you might be feeling from that particular client, you don't want those emotions to flow into your other relationships. Because we know how that can work. Like, they're frustrating you, so now you got an attitude. Now you got an attitude with your clients who are great. Why are we doing that? You know what I'm saying?
Attitude is very transferable.
It's very transferable. And I feel like when you're protecting your peace, you kind of have to always remember what's for you is what's for you. Like, I understand, like, this may be a big sale, but maybe a bigger sale is coming along.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying?
And you can't get the bigger sale because you're so busy playing.
Because you're so stressed out about this sale
about
over
this
here.
one that ain't even gonna buy. The only thing that is more frustrating than than dealing with somebody, who's wasting your time and energy is like thinking that you're actually gonna close this person and then
you're not.
When you could have literally used your time and resources to pour it into something that's gonna be greater. So that whole idea of like FOMO, feeling like you're gonna miss out on the sale. Remember, like she said, like everything that's for you is gonna be for you. And honestly, you might do this and set this healthy boundary with a client, and they may end up circling back to you and say, hey, look, I'm ready and I did the right thing. So just never be afraid to put yourself first and put your needs first and pop that balloon, baby. When it's time, it's time.
We are popping the balloons on bad clients, y'all. We are out of the era of clients are always right. Maybe most of the time, but not always.
But not always. Period. I love that. Well, I hope you guys use these tips to help you guys identify red flags with the consumers in your business. And as usual, make sure y'all are liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to All Things Hustle Haven. Yeah, I know y'all love it here because we do.
Okay. And guess what? We'll see you week after next.
Period. Okay? All right. See y'all.
Bye, y'all.